start the meeting tonight, the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, October 14th, 2021. As per been our distinct privilege for me to read the opening statement due to the COVID rules so everybody understands how we're currently conducting the public hearings. So for everybody to be on the same page. So it's a short little thing I've got to do at the beginning of the meeting, and then we'll get started. Good evening. This is the regularly scheduled October 14th meeting of the Geneva Planning and Zoning Commission. I am Scott Stocking, the chairman of the commission. Tonight, for the benefit of those in the audience, I'm joined by Community Development Director David DeGroot, City Planner Chayton True, and we don't have a public hearing transcriber here, but all commissioners are present here. Commissioner Mead, Moran, Miniskill, Slifka, and Holman. Mim Evans is remote, so she's the only commissioner that's remote today. Virtual attendees may watch or participate in the live stream meeting by accessing the link provided in the meeting agenda found on the city's website at www.geneva.illinois.us. For more information about meeting procedures or providing public comment, please see notice regarding meeting and public comment rule modification due to COVID-19, a link to which is provided on the agenda for the meeting tonight. A single item of new business on tonight's agenda is a site plan review for an expansion at the FONA International facility located at 1900 Averill Road. The proposed expansion conforms to this Geneva zoning ordinance and additional development standards found in regulating Geneva Business Park Plan Unit development. Therefore, the project is a permitted development by right and not requiring a public hearing. The applicant will provide a brief overview of the project and will allow members of the commission to ask questions and make comments. Members of the public attending virtually or in person will be given an opportunity to share comments regarding tonight's single agenda item or other items not on tonight's agenda. This will take place following the site plan review and during the public comment portion of the agenda, which we do in every meeting. If attending virtually, please use the raise hand feature when offered an opportunity to provide comment. We ask that you state your name and address when it is your turn to speak. In order to help with the quality of the meeting broadcast, I remind that all commissioners mute themselves except when they are addressing the commission. Commissioners joining virtually also need to state their name prior to speaking, prior to all roll call votes to better assist our record keepers. For example, Stocking, yea, nay, or abstain. Okay, so that's how we're going to proceed this evening. Any questions? All right, if no questions, Celeste, please call the roll.
Evans,
Evans here.
Holloman,
Holloman here.
Mataskill,
Mataskill here.
Mead,
Mead here.
Moran,
Moran here.
Slifka,
Slifka here.
Stocking.
Stocking here.
Who had a big quorum?
Thank you, Celeste. Our next item is approval of the agenda for this evening's meeting.
Move to approve this evening's agenda. Slifka. Second. Moran.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next item is approval of minutes of September 23rd, 2021 meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I have a couple clarifications to bring up.
Very well.
First of all, I want to commend Celeste, and that was quite the meaty public hearing we had.
Yes, indeed.
I think that these minutes accurately reflect that. Just a couple things I wanted to ask or to clarify. On page 2, in the fourth paragraph, it says a review of the landscaping plans followed and will not include, or is that supposed to say will now include an 8-foot wall of evergreens? I thought it.
So that was what came out of the meeting, yes.
Yeah, it says not in here, and I thought it's just a type, you know.
Just a letter.
Yep, so if we could make that change. And then if we go to page 7, at the bottom of the page, it says Commissioner Mead voiced his major concerns. And I really think what I intended was I voiced the major concerns. I was summarizing what was the major concerns voiced by both the public and fellow commissioners. And so rather than his, if it could say the. And then I think, if I may, and unless any other commissioners disagree, I think our noise issue focused on overnight noise. I think we're all cognizant that normal noise of trucks during the day are just part of having an industrial property there. I think our noise concerns were resulting from potential overnight noise from the volume of traffic they're going to have. So I was going to suggest we put the word overnight in front of noise on that first line.
I think, anybody have objection to that? I think that's how I read it.
Okay, and then the same thing on the first paragraph of first full paragraph on page 8, and about the 6th line, it said her main issue was the noise, and I think it's the overnight noise, and I think that's referring to Mim, so she might have a comment on that, but I think that's what we're focusing on at that point of the meeting as well, overnight noise. I think just, that helps city council, if they read this, understand what our main concerns were.
That was definitely the main concern to me.
Yeah. I think then under standard 3 near the bottom where we talked about the increased noise from increased traffic, it said, the last sentence there says commissioners, and maybe commissioners with an S, agreed to add this to standard number 5. I think we said commissioners agreed to address this in standard 5. I think
Correct.
that's where we moved it. And then again in standard number 5 below, next to the last line, commissioners pointed out the overnight noise. Again, not to be overly, but just to kind of emphasize that was the issue. That's the only things I had. I think that helps further clarify for city council
I
what
think
we were
those,
doing.
those are fine clarifying comments. I don't have any issues with them. Nobody else on the commission does as well, so Celeste, we can make those changes.
So I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes as amended this evening.
Very well.
Second, Slivka.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so we have a single item on our agenda this evening. It's a site plan review for FONA International, Inc. expansion to the FONA International, Inc. facility, including a 15,620 square foot building addition and off-street parking. The location is 1900 Aver Road. The applicant is Saram Construction on behalf of FONA International, Inc. Jayden, do we have anything that we have to put in the record on this?
Not for this item,
Okay,
since we do not have a public hearing.
no public hearings on this, okay. So with that, we'll hear from the applicant.
Hi, I'm Ryan Quinn with Schramm Construction. I'm here just with a quick review of our project. As you are well aware, it's a 15,620 square foot F1 food processing facility on 1900 Avil Road in Geneva. We are here requesting a building permit. It's a single-story structure unit, 48 feet in height. It's a superstructure with steel in the inside, insulated metal paneled exterior that matches the existing building. It comes with a standard fire protection system. Mainly food production is done inside the facility addition, and approximately 41 people will be inside the facility working each and every day.
Okay, that's short and simple.
Yeah. So there'll be food prep in here? That's what this is for?
Yes, FONA does, Flavors of North America is what
Right.
FONA stands for.
Right. Okay, so this, when they make and maybe test the flavors that they're adding to food or something like that? Is that what-
Yes, they do all kinds of products all over the world, different flavors for different things. I'm not super well versed on the exact products they do, but I do have Albert Tejada with FONA International. If he could have more questions about the actual production and
Great.
what they do, he'd be happy to answer them.
Cool, thank you.
Sure.
Good evening. Just to
Sure,
clarify,
Please identify yourself and your,
I'm Albert Tejada. I'm the Director of Engineering for FONA International,
okay.
and I'm here on behalf of the company just to provide any clarification or answer to the questions that you may have.
Thank you.
Specifically on your question, so we produced flavors for the food industry. And the addition that Ryan described is actually going to house 3 additional spray dryers. This specific expansion is going to be for dry flavors. We also produce liquid flavors, but the expansion is only going to enable the production of more sprayed dry flavors.
Great.
There will be 3 additional dryers, and with its corresponding ancillary services, meaning that we'll have compressed air, electric service, and all the other utilities that will basically support the service of the dryers. The expansion will also have additional space or additional footprint for a potential expansion to other tree dryers in the future. This is part of a very ambitious plan that the company has in order to support the continue a growth trend. McCormick, which is our parent company, is now basically sponsoring the execution of this project. We have been very eagerly to be able to start on before the cold weather comes in order to basically stay within the very tight goals that we have in order to fulfill the necessities of our customers. But also at the same time, we want to ensure that we can start as soon as possible so that we can also compensate for some of the issues that we're experiencing on the supply chain nowadays. So we don't want to cause any extension of all the project because of those issues that are starting to affect the overall industry. What else can I tell you about the project? As Ryan mentioned, the expected occupation of the new space is approximately for 41 or 42 additional employees that will help us to support the operation in 3 different shifts. So that will bring additional jobs to the community. And as I said, it will help us to support our growth ambitions within the next 5 years.
Great. Thank you
So
very much.
this is one of the first phases of a actually wider ambition growth project that we have laying for the next years to come.
Okay,
Great, thank you.
very good, thank you. Do you have any questions for him? Anyone? No? All right, thank you, sir. All right. I didn't have any questions for some. Mim, do you have anything?
Yeah, I have one question.
Certainly.
In the staff report, it mentions a 3,400 square foot building addition for a recycling center. And I was confused about that.
It's got to be a typo.
Okay, good, because I read through this and I could not figure out where that was.
Yeah, 'cause
Okay,
it's a-
so just, that was my question.
The 15,000 square foot addition, so I don't know where that came from.
I think that was a carryover from a template report.
Oh, okay.
Okay, all right.
Good catch.
fine,
Nice catch,
then I have
ma'am.
no other questions.
Good catch, Nim. That, thanks a lot. Oh, so, yeah, okay. Okay, thank you, man. Anything else? You're good? Okay, thank you. Anything else from the commissioners? Rebecca? Oh, what? Michael, you can go.
So I was just asking, in the report, you mentioned some landscaping issues that need to be addressed. So does this new sheet that we had tonight, does that address those concerns?
Yes, so the applicant submitted a new landscape plan, a revised landscape plan, and it did address the issues that we commented to them. So this new landscape plan does meet code. So I sent an email this evening to just mentioning that, the need to include staff approval of a revised landscape plan as part of conditional approval is no longer necessary in the recommendation.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, Rebecca.
I just had a question about the letter that you sent us this afternoon, the public feedback about just the environmental piece related to the building, if there were any, I don't know, the way the building is constructed, or is it taking into consideration, different environmental pieces and things like that, like through the, there was questions about parking and different things like that, but just I don't know if, is it an environmentally friendly building, I guess is what I'm asking, like in materials or anything like that?
And Ryan, we also do have Oscar Ibarra, who's the architect, joining us if we need to divert any questions to him.
Yes. In regards to your question about considerations for the environment, FONA and McCormick have asked us to participate in a LEED shadow program. So we have hired an environmental consultant that will be on for the duration of the project that will actually review submittals to help us become more environmentally friendly throughout the construction duration. So at the end of the project, there's an ambitious goal to get certain levels of certification, and we are conscious of the environment. That's why we're participating in the LEED shadow program.
Okay, great.
If I may add.
Certainly.
The other thing that we're doing towards the environment is the new technologies on the spray dryers that we're going to install. We're going to have a reduced water consumption versus the standard spray dryer technologies. The systems that we're going to install, they will have their automated CIP or cleaning systems that are actually going to improve or reduce the amount of water that we use during those routines. So that's another consideration that we're putting into the design of the equipment that we're installing within the facility.
Great.
Gentlemen, could you please, your last name, our recorder did not get your last name.
Can you spell it?
Tejada, Tejada.
Thank you,
Yeah.
appreciate it.
That's great. Yep, thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any other comments, questions? Okay. I believe so.
Okay.
Any comments?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to grant site plan and final PUD approval related to a 15,620 square foot building addition, subject to final engineering approval prior to building permit issuance, and subject also to the findings of fact contained in the staff report.
Second, Slivka.
Moved and seconded. Celeste, please call the roll.
Evans,
Evans, aye.
Holloman,
Holloman, aye.
Madaskil,
Madaskil, aye.
Mead,
Mead, aye.
Moran,
Moran, aye.
Slivka,
Slivka, aye.
Stocking.
Stocking eye.
That passes.
All right, thank you. Oh, Chayton, the thing that goes to,
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
or the applicant?
So this recommendation will go before the city council on Monday, October 25th. It'll be right here in this room, city council chambers at 7 PM.
All right, thank you, gentlemen, appreciate the presentation, thank you. Okay, so our next item on our agenda is public comment. So we do this every meeting, open it for public comment for anyone who wishes to address the commission. If you're online, please use your raise hand feature so you can be recognized to speak.
The commission now recognizes Patrick Klingberg. Patrick, please unmute yourself and proceed with your public comment.
Patrick, are you with us?
We can hear you.
Sounds like your speaker's on, I'm hearing you though.
Go ahead and speak, Patrick. We can hear you. We can.
Okay, are the FONA people still in the room?
Sir, you might need to speak up a little bit into your mic.
Are the FONA people still in the room?
Yes, and we can't hear you fine now.
Oh, you can hear me fine? Okay. Thank you for allowing me to ask questions. As I had asked Chase in an email, I am wondering what are you going to do to mitigate greenhouse gas production during the construction of the building? I assume I didn't see in the plans of concrete, and that does release a tremendous amount of CO2 into the atmosphere. If you were doing any new techniques of the new techniques of sequestering the CO2 during the making of the concrete?
To answer your question, sir, that has not been looked at, but with environmental consultant, that will be something that will be reviewed, but as of today, nothing is planned for that.
I'm assuming that you are aware that the city has endorsed the Greater Chicagoland climate plan. And I'm also wondering if there have been presented any incentives to you for installation of solar, either, photovoltaics or rainwater collection for use for landscaping, or if you have any thoughts on that.
Those are all great practices at this point. None of those are scheduled for the project. I do not know the complete history when it comes to issues such as those, but as of now, the projects do not include the aforementioned items.
Okay. My last comment was on the parking, if there was any thought of making a parking deck instead of taking up additional land with parking, or, the asphalt.
The parking area that is being added is minimal. There's actually only 7 additional spots, so the impact to the green area is minimal. There is not a need based upon the building size and the employee size for for additional spots other than 7.
Okay. Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you, sir. Okay, anyone else who wishes to address the commission at this time? Again, if you're online, use the raise hand feature so you can be recognized. And we can call you and you can talk to the commission. Anyone else online?
Nobody online.
Okay, no one here in City Hall wishes to comment? Okay, so that's
Can I ask a question?
certainly.
I just was wondering about what the gentleman was referring to, the Chicago environmental,
Gotta
I'm
defer
looking at you, David.
the staff on that one.
Staff? Chayton?
That might be,
The name was escaping me. The Greenest Region Compact.
Chicagoland Climate Action Plan.
I don't know the specific details of it. I know that we have endorsed it as a community, but the next step is to take actions to help implement it. And we
Okay,
are really fresh off adopting it, so we have not taken those steps.
okay.
So modifications of the city code and things of that nature, so.
In our department, we're currently working on amending our regulations to become a Soul Smart community to promote the use of solar energy in the community. But that's the only step we're taking at the moment.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so, any other business? I know you guys are busy.
Yeah. We'll provide a quick little update of all the projects that we have made public thus far. So just to give a recap on Geneva Farms North, since I'm sure that's on everybody's mind. The recommendations made by the Planning and Zoning Commission were to be considered by the City Council on Monday, October 4th. The applicant requested to move the item off of that agenda into a meeting later this month, just to possibly come up with some compromises brought up by the city, some concerns. And at the October 4th City Council meeting, it was, they pushed the meeting back to October 18th. So this upcoming Monday, City Council will hear the recommendations made by the Planning and Zoning Commission and consider the annexation agreement for the project. Any questions on that item? Okay.
Nope.
Just to add to that a little bit, the applicant did propose some changes to address the concerns raised by the commission. The two major changes they proposed were to create a tree fund, a $50,000 deposit, which would allow neighbors backing up to Kirk Road to purchase landscaping and provide additional screening on their properties. And the other component was to limit overnight truck traffic exiting the facility to head east towards Couts Road. So that would reduce the amount of overnight traffic
I think we brought that up during the meeting, I assume.
by approximately half. So those were the two, I guess, concessions that they made to try to address the commission's concerns, and those will be considered by the council on Monday night.
All right.
So moving on, we have set a public hearing for the Geneva Farm South project, which this is about 55 acres of land generally located northeast of Kirk Road and Fabian Parkway. The applicant is seeking to annex that portion of land, is also seeking a comprehensive plan amendment, changing that from, right now in the southeast master plan, it's slated for commercial. They are seeking an amendment to industrial, and then also a zoning map amendment upon annexation from rural residential to the I-1 light industrial district. There are no plans associated with these requests. They just want to kind of go through the first portion of entitlements to get it set up for any potential development in the future. But based on what we're told, they're seeking a by right development for that property.
So it'd be the land that's just north of the Country House restaurant?
That's
pretty
correct.
much? Okay.
Yep.
And across from the hockey rink and everything? Okay.
Yes, sir. And that is scheduled to, we're scheduled to have a public hearing for that at our next meeting, which is October 28th, right here at 7 p.m. Moving on to the Starfish Animal Rescue. This is a new project that we put on the website, and they recently submitted an application. The Starfish Animal Rescue is seeking to amend the Geneva Business Park planned unit development to allow animal rescues, not including boarding or kenneling, in that PUD. That's located at 204 Dearborn Court. Kind of some office suites in a kind of strip center type building. So they're just seeking a amendment to the PUD to allow for that use. And we're anticipating on bringing that before the Planning and Zoning Commission on Thursday, November 11th at 7 p.m. And then the other projects we have right now, just, staff is reviewing plans and submitted documents, making sure that they're, being prepared to come to the Planning and Zoning Commission. That's Delnor Hospital. They're planning a cancer center expansion and an amendment to their PUD. And then we also have the Hillwood Weber Farm redevelopment. Staff still going through their submissions with them. And then lastly is the Valley Animal Hospital at, I believe it's 810 East State Street. They're seeking to amend their planned unit development so that they can remove I believe it's a two-family dwelling on the property and expand their parking lot. So those are all in the works right now. Those are planned to be brought before the Planning and Zoning Commission in the next few months.
Great. Okay. Very good.
Do you have any
Thank you.
questions on those, or?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman and Chayton, being the new guy on the panel, just a general question. First of all, I got my plaque, so now I feel official.
There you go.
All right.
Is there anything about cyclical about zoning and planning? I mean, is there a crush at the end of the year to get applications in, or a springtime, big time for new development, or it just comes when it comes?
Yeah, so I guess towards late summer, any projects that have been in the work tend to move toward approval so that they could possibly break ground before winter. But then I imagine that we see new applications maybe in the winter being prepared for groundbreaking in the spring and summer.
I mean, there's some pent-up stuff because during COVID, there wasn't a whole lot of activity, so, I mean, that certainly is a factor.
Sure.
In terms of
So it could be a kind
pulling
of
up
makeup
people
session.
not really doing anything because Nobody's doing it, was doing anything
Sure.
for about a year, so.
And then sometimes they're, towards the end of the year, to get rid of, assets, some companies, exchange land or sell land just before, so they can get that off the tax rolls for
Okay.
this year and not carry over into the next.
Yeah, and I've been on the commission for more than a decade, and it's, it doesn't seem to follow north. It just, suddenly there's a surge, and you're busy, really busy, and then we're not busy for a while.
No particular pattern?
No particular pattern, just what comes in the door, so,
Thank you.
yep. Anything else? No? Oh, the way, we can't have a meeting without talking about Dunkin' Donuts. But thank you, Rebecca. I know. I see they have lighting, the lighting's going up,
They do have lights.
but now there's something else?
Well, they are still working through their approvals with IDOT.
Oh, really? That's still going on?
Yeah, so once they've secured a permit from IDOT, we could start talking about a temporary occupancy permit. But we're not at that stage yet, and we don't expect to be probably for several weeks yet.
Wow, I thought that had been taken by now.
For the access to Route 38, they're having some recommended changes to the access points on 38. So their engineer, as of Wednesday, was wrapping up those plans for a submittal to IDOT. So then IDOT will review it, and that could take several weeks, and then we can hopefully be in a position to move forward.
Had they not gotten IDOT approval, or are they trying to make changes, and so seeking approval for changes?
They had not gotten it.
Wow.
And
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they had more than enough time to do it.
yes.
They had
Coffee's
plenty of
getting
time
cold.
to do it. Okay. But, yeah,
I-
thanks, Rebecca. It wouldn't have been a meeting without. Would have felt left out.
I do have one question for the commission. So in preparation of these meetings, we always send out physical copies of the packet to the police department for commission members to pick up. Do we still want to continue that, or is it helpful to have the physical copies, or would you like to switch over to completely electronic, and then maybe when we have larger projects with actual plans, we can provide physical copies? I just wanted to kind of take the temperature of the.
Preference.
I like the physical copies, because then
Okay.
I can mark them up, and
Okay.
I know I won't print them at home. That's too hard for me to, so I would say I do kind of depend on these
Okay.
physical copies from the police.
I too enjoy the physical copies. I'm of an age and generation where I like to mark up and take notes, and I use those during the meetings. However, there could be some discretion on your part when there's volumes of plans. I don't need to see a spec for a manhole cover or, that type of thing. There could be some discretion that those are available electronically, but building elevations and site plans and, lighting plans and landscape plans are something I like to have in my hand to look at. But a lot of the minutia or the standard stuff that I can pick
Detailed
up.
sheets, all the
Yeah,
detailed
if that's available electronically, I can look for that if I want. I can page through that and decide if I want to spend time on that page or how much time or have an issue with it.
Okay.
So I don't want to use too much paper, but it's not going to waste when it comes to me, and I can tell you that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I appreciate the paper copies as well.
Oh,
Okay.
there you go. That's pretty, yeah, that's theirs.
Also, I want to apologize to the person, I think it was for the last meeting, they showed up maybe 5 minutes to 5, and the packets weren't over there, so they had to come back. I don't know who that was, but,
Oh. Yeah, over
sorry
the
about that.
Over the police station, they didn't make it over yet. No. I do it all electronically. I do it on the train, so.
Okay.
I'm electronic, so
There you go.
I got my iPad, I just do it on the train, so I can zoom in, I can see everything.
You're young.
No, I'm not.
I was wondering, what are
Thanks.
the hours of that office to be able to pick it up? Because sometimes
24/7.
That's why we leave them there, because they're open.
There, yeah.
Oh,
In the back door, you can get up, the back door is always
okay, that's good.
24/7, anytime.
Yeah.
Day or night, yep.
so if you can't sleep and you need some material to read.
Yeah, if you need,
Oh,
need
yeah.
a place to go, they're open. Anything else, Jake?
Thanks, guys.
I don't believe staff has
Nope,
anything
that's
else.
it. All right. Tim, I can't see you, but I need it.
All right, move to adjourn.
Thank you.